What if everything that you thought you knew about angels and demons was wrong? Throughout history, various cultures around the globe have held different ideas about what demons and angels are, but they're only stories, right? What if they were real, but not in the way that you might think? See, understanding what they really are will change your life forever, and today we're going to dive into the hidden roots of angels and demons. We'll explore a truth so powerful that the church itself banned this knowledge. We'll discover a ritual performed by secret societies to invoke the power of these beings, and will reveal the real forces that you can harness to transform your life. But first, make sure that you like and subscribe, as I'll be releasing more hidden knowledge on my channel that you won't find anywhere else. And if you ever feel like you've learned something from my work, support on Patreon to get access to members-only videos every week. You can also support by hitting the join button right below this video. So what are angels and demons really? To answer this question, we need to take a closer look at their roots to discover their connection to good and evil. The idea of good and evil beings can be traced back to ancient civilizations, and Zoroastrianism, one of the oldest known religions, developed a complex cosmology featuring good spirits, or ahuras, and evil spirits, or devas. Now, in ancient Egypt, they had a similar duality with gods associated with order, truth, and justice, such as Maat and Osiris, and chaos entities like Set, who was associated with storms, disorder, and violence. Now, of course, in Christianity, angels are servants of God who protect humanity and sometimes act as messengers between humans and God. And of course, on the other hand, we have demons, which are evil entities that are often fallen angels, with, of course, Satan being the most infamous. And they represent evil, temptation, and they often seek to cause harm to humanity or lead them away from God. Here we see a clear-cut distinction between good and evil, but here's where things get interesting. What if the line between good and evil, angel and demon, wasn't so clear? Let me explain. In Eastern philosophies, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism, concepts similar to angels and demons exist, but the line between good and evil isn't so clear. In Hinduism, devas and asuras, while often translated as gods and demons, have very complex roles. They represent cosmic forces that are in constant tension, but neither is totally good or evil. They're complex beings that reflect the complexity of human nature itself. But let's take this a step further. What if angels and demons aren't beings like they're depicted in religion? What if they represent universal cosmic forces that pervade everything around us and within us? Now, this is exactly what the Gospel of Mary Magdalene seems to suggest, but it was deemed as heretical and blasphemous and banned by the church. Now, the banned Gospel of Mary Magdalene paints a picture of the soul's journey after death. Here, the soul encounters 7 powers, or demons, that represent unconscious aspects of the self, like desire, ignorance, and wrath, that must be confronted and overcome in order to escape the cycle of reincarnation. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, it's because it's actually very similar to Buddhism. See, Buddhism also has its celestial beings and demonic entities, but they're often seen as metaphors for states of consciousness or even psychological states rather than literal beings. But what if this knowledge has actually been exploited by secret societies to hack the mind and obtain power? Let me explain. Have you ever felt out of nowhere some kind of internal desire to do something good, or instead felt a destructive desire? Well, see, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, viewed angels and demons not as external entities, but as internal archetypes or patterns within the mind. In other words, an angel could represent qualities like compassion and wisdom, while a demon might symbolize the shadow self, the darker parts of our psyche that we don't want to acknowledge. So in simple terms, Carl Jung's approach to angels and demons is not to view them as literal beings, but as symbolic representations of the various aspects of the mind. Now, along these lines, in spiritual systems today, some view angels and demons as forms of energy or consciousness, and angels could be viewed as high-frequency energies associated with love, peace, and healing, while demons could represent lower-frequency energies like fear, anger, and destruction. But the question is, can these internal forces be harnessed? The The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram is a ceremonial magic ritual devised and used by a secret society known as the Order of the Golden Dawn. Today, it's used as a fundamental ritual in ceremonial magic, Wicca, Thelema, and other forms of the occult and esotericism. But what is this ritual? Well, in the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, the practitioner calls upon the four archangels, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel. But see, this is actually all about self-empowerment. It's not actually about calling on angels that exist externally. It's about bringing out those powerful forces or energies that exist deep within you. See, Raphael symbolizes the mind, intellect, and communication linked with the element of air. Now, as an archetype, Raphael represents our rational self, logical thinking, and our capacity to communicate and learn. So invoking Raphael is a call to awaken the clear-sighted, rational part of our psyche. Michael is associated with the elements of fire. Michael represents willpower, courage, and vitality. So in the realm of archetypes, Michael represents our inner warrior, our passion, our determination, and our capacity to be assertive. So invoking Michael is to call forth our courage and will. Gabriel is associated with emotions, intuition, and the subconscious, linked with the element of water. Now, as an archetype, Gabriel embodies our intuitive and emotional self, our dreams, and our capacity to feel and empathize. So invoking Gabriel is a call to the depths of our emotions and our capacity for compassion. Now, Uriel symbolizes stability, strength in the physical world, and is linked with the element of earth. As an archetype, Uriel represents our physical self, our connection with nature and the material world, our sense of grounding and stability. So invoking Uriel invokes our strength, patience, and connection with the physical world. So you see, invoking these archangels isn't about literal external beings. It's about bringing balance to our mind, integrating our rationality with our emotions, our willpower with our stability, aligning all parts of ourselves in harmony. So this ritual is a symbolic act of self-integration, which absolutely reflects the ideas of Carl Jung and the process of individuation, where a person integrates the conscious and unconscious parts of their psyche to achieve wholeness. Do you see how all of this begins to connect together? See, the unconscious mind communicates in symbols, and rituals like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram can be a powerful way to symbolically speak with your unconscious mind. All rituals are actually, when understood properly, powerful and advanced forms of psychology. The problem is that most people take them to be literally true. And if you do this, then they can be an obstacle to your growth, because people might begin to rely on a delusion, meaning they might think that those angels are actually external beings and focus on them rather than their own internal power. But the big question is, what does this all mean for you? Well, reality is more complex than labeling certain things as good or evil, angel or demon. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." So now it's up to you. What do your angels and demons represent for you? How will you engage with them? And most importantly, how will you integrate them into your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself? So you have to discover these energies within you and work with them, both the energies of light and dark. Carl Jung said, "We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." The real secret here is not about banishing our demons, but understanding them, transforming, integrating, and working with them. Our angels must dance with our demons. The real challenge here is about recognizing and harmonizing these forces within ourselves. By understanding and integrating the energies that exist within you, you can utterly transform your life. See, we are complex beings with many different powers and energies within ourselves, and we accept, embrace, and integrate all these energies. Remember, these are not external forces, but manifestations of our own internal dimensions. We're here to create a new beginning, a new world, a new self. And as neogenians, we understand that to ascend to our highest potential, to fully step into the role of conscious creators, we must embrace our whole selves. We harness the power of heaven and hell, light and dark, creation and destruction, all within ourselves. Our angels and demons aren't adversaries, but rather they're energies deep within ourselves that can be used to co-create a new world. Are you ready? Join us in creating a new beginning. Now make sure that you like and subscribe, and I have a lot more videos, so check them out. And if you enjoy my work, support over on Patreon or become a member on YouTube.